Hey, welcome to Estevan TV. I'm at PushGapRadio.com.
PushGapRadio.com. Bridging the gap between old school and new school radio. PushGapRadio.com. It's Dallas, baby.
PushGapRadio.com. Hamilton Park, Dallas.
PushGapRadio.com in Dallas and Fort Worth. Welcome back to another edition of Shaka 401 in the main event with Jackie O. Gonna get into a couple of things here today. We've been off for a couple of weeks, been trying to get up to speed with SEO and things of that nature. A whole lot of things have been going on. And we're back now, and we would like to thank each and every one of you who subscribe to the channel and for the tremendous support that you give us. We truly, truly appreciate it. First thing down the pike, Freaknik. Stream it or skip it. Now, I watched it. It was informative, but a little bit boring. Okay, showed a lot more. To me, it showed a lot more about traffic and whatnot as people were streaming in. You know what I'm saying? Not a whole lot of freaky stuff. Few little clips there. Was it as, if you've watched it, try not to give any spoilers. Aren't any really to give to me. But if you watched it, do you think during Freaknik that the girls were as freaky as the girls are today? The women are today. Don't want to offend. Yeah. But do you think they're as freaky as are today? Okay. They was booty shaking back then. It's called twerking today. Okay. But is it as risque as it used to be? As it is today, with the way these chicks get up here, Glorilla, Suki Hana, Sexy Red, and whatnot. You know, to me, it was mild, because if you listen to Luke Campbell today, compared to when it came out in the late 80s and whatnot, Uncle Luke and 2 Live Crew and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Back then, that shit there was like, man, very risque. You remember Uncle Luke had to go to court because of the explicit lyrics. But you can listen to this shit today. Let me lay my Joe Louis on your forehead, Snapchat me the Punani, this, that, and the third. You know, they just totally out there. You know, I think that you do it where you have some kind of mystery to it. Okay. But Freaknik on Hulu, a celebratory exploration of the boisterous times of Freaknik, the iconic Atlanta street party that drew hundreds of thousands of people in the 80s and 90s and helped put Atlanta on the cultural map. Wildest Party Never Told, Freaknik is what they're calling it. Co-executive producers was Luke Campbell, Uncle Luke, Jermaine Dupri, 21 Savage, and it was directed by P. Frank Williams. Now, Freaknik traces the history and the happenings of an outdoor party in Atlanta that started as a gathering for black college students at historically black colleges and universities. You know, during spring break or whatever, some students went home. Some couldn't afford to go home, okay? They were at colleges like Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Atlanta. And it grew into a cultural force that put the ATL on the map as a black mecca. For those who've watched it, please in the comment, give us your review on what you thought of it. Was it boring? Was it informative? Very informative, I believe. It was very informative. You know, I like finding out where the name came from, this, that, and the third. From Lashik. Freak out. Okay. For those of you of a certain age. But yeah, Morehouse, Spelman, Clark, Atlantic, all of this is what these colleges came together to put on Freaknik. But of course, it could never last because you got black folk running things. Them folk don't like that. Don't like see you having a good time. We are pressing your ass. You should be sad and depressed. But at its best years, Freaknik represented maximum fun. Okay. Nobody moving in traffic, Lil John said. And it was the ultimate street party. Not just one street, but the entire city of Atlanta was a street party, mine. Now, the gist of it, if you look at a Freaknik photo album from the 80s through the 90s, you will literally get a chronology of black fashion, black hair, and all that during that time. This was told to you by Mark Lamont Hill. The thing that I heard a guy said on TikTok that had watched Freaknik, and this had gotten to me too because Vicky Dillard, for those of you who are familiar with Vicky Dillard, I can't watch her. Though Vicky Dillard has great information, all this moving your hair out your face thing, that seems unnatural to me. And as you watch the Freaknik documentary, I ain't seen one chick move her hair out of her face because our hair doesn't grow like that. Okay. I started trying to watch Vicky Dillard, and instead of focusing on what Vicky Dillard is talking about, I'm counting how many times you moving that hair out your damn face. But like someone said back then in the 70s, the 80s, black women wore their own hair. Okay. Now, our hair may have some body to it, like Oprah back in the 80s, as my mom used to say. Oprah's hair has a lot of body. Yeah, it moves. But all that touching it all the time, that's a turnoff for me. Another turnoff for me is those of you who keep pointing to the videos, talking about, listen, okay, by the time you do that second or third time, nigga, I turn your shit off. The fuck, do I look stupid? I'm watching the video. What the fuck is you pointing at? But yeah, the moving of the hair, that's a Farrah Fawcett thing. That's a white girl thing. And now today, I don't care what I'm watching on, and I know I'm getting off topic here, but I don't care what I'm watching. Chicks are always touching their hair. That's a distraction for me. Ladies, do you ever watch the news? Do you ever see women touching their hair? No. That's a distraction. You have to sit here and you have to be still and talk so that people focus on the information and not on your hair. But yeah, look at a photo album from Freaknik back in the day, the fashion, the hairstyles, the dance moves, all of that. Shows you how phenomenal we are as a people, okay? Freaknik was out during a time when you had School Days by Spike Lee. You remember that? Good movie. A Different World. It's all in the late 80s, mine. Outkast, Southern playalistic Cadillac music. Funkified by the Brat. All that good music back then, mine. The event just grew and grew and grew until the whole thing was just a destination event. And a traffic jam crossed with a party. Now, you got a lot of features in it. It talks with the co-founders, Sharon Toomer, Emma Horton, Amadi Boone, were HBCU students in 1983 when they first combined Freak and Picnic to form a place where kids who weren't traveling home for spring break could celebrate. Again, the name came from La Freak, with chic. Freak out. You know what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah, this was designed for the kids who couldn't go home. The movie tracks the party's expansion as it became an annual draw for black young people from all over the country. As time went on, they just start flooding in. And it also addresses Atlanta's eventual clampdown on the event, which ties directly to the choices Atlanta leadership made as the city prepared to host the 1996 Olympic Games. Again, Luke Campbell, Jermaine Dupri, 21 Savage, they were all interviewed in the Freaknik documentary. You get commentary from Jalen Rose. He was there. Killer Mike done picked up a little weight. Big Mike, come on, baby. You talk a lot of great stuff. Let's talk about that health, man. Let's get you squared away there, Big Mike. I started juicing. Okay, so I can try to get mine down there. But yeah, Killer Mike, Too Short, Eric Sermon, Lil Jon. He had scholars like Maurice Hobson and Rhonda Rocha Penrith, and former Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed. Interviewed a lot of people. who told what it had became mine. I never attended Freaknik. I went to the Jack the Rapper convention that they had there at one time. That was amazing when I was trying to break into the rap game back in the day. You know, Jack the Rapper had come to Dallas, but I had traveled to Atlanta. Atlanta's amazing to me. But did you watch the documentary? The cultural event from the 80s to the late 90s. It told the story of how a small HBCU picnic grew into one of the wildest parties that Atlanta had ever seen. And like I said, I felt like it did a great job so far as explaining the history of it and how it grew from its humble beginnings. I like that part. You know, we always wonder, well, how did Freaknik get started? Again, where did the name come from? And again, just big celebrations of black culture from the 80s and 90s. Very informative. Check this review out.
This documentary was very, very well done. It was informative. It was quite entertaining. Quite entertaining, okay? I learned a lot about Freaknik. So, of course, when Freaknik was going on, I was like a teenager, 13, 14. I ain't go. My parents didn't go. We lived in the DMV anyway, which you're welcome to Atlanta because it was told and documented in this documentary that folks from the DMV were the ones that started Freaknik with the whole picnic thing, which I also did not know the history and origin behind the word picnic, so I will never use that word again. But yeah, you're welcome because it was DMV folks, because we know how to party, that actually started Freaknik. But just to see the timeline of how things went, the transition, the rise and fall of Freaknik, I smiled through the first part of the documentary just looking at the videos of just a whole bunch of beautiful black people coming together, not fighting, not arguing, just having a good ass time, dancing, enjoying life. Like, those were the times. The big shorts, the big jeans. Wasn't nobody naked. Everybody had clothes on in the beginning. Everybody had clothes on. We had the big shorts. And the girls was still pulling the men's, even though they had the big old shorts and everything on. But this was very well done, and I loved it. It got very sad at the end, though. It definitely got sad at the end, seeing how it just kind of went downhill. Because all it takes is one person to mess up the party, and it just went real bad. But yeah, this was good. I'm glad I watched this. I'm glad y'all gave this to us. This is very educational, and I'm just glad I didn't see any of my family members on here.
Yeah, youngsters today don't know how it was, man. Freaknik, greatest story ever told, was driven by nostalgia, by the sentiment that takes different forms depending on your age and experience of who was telling it to you. Did you attend Freaknik at some point? I recall one girl in an interview said that she saw her mom on there, and her mom was pregnant with her. Old girl said, "What the hell you got us at Freaknik for? Should be on bed rest. You here at the Boogaloo." Okay. Now, they say the original attendees light up when they are interviewed about what went down, how car culture played into the event's draw and mystique. A lot of VHS footage, baby. Wasn't as risque as I thought it would be, though. A little boring at parts to me, but I did want to support, And Freaknik came with the assurance of industrial strength flirting and new definitions of sexual presentation. Wasn't as wild as they do it today with Suki Hana and Sexy Red now. Suki Dookie, I call her. She said she wanted to eat out a nigga's asshole. then you wonder why people treat black women the way they do. Okay. But it gave a new definition of sexual presentation, liberation for women in the space, and expression without fear of backlash. For many of these folks, revitalized versions of Freaknik, driven by interest from a contemporary generation of young people, missed the point, which for them flows from anything goes nature of the 80s and 90s edition, but it's still nostalgia either way. I liked it. Again, it wasn't the explosive thing I thought it would be. The way they were marketing it and whatnot, you know. They just knew how to have fun, my. World was different back then. Wasn't no internet. Okay. Because I just don't understand you youngsters today. Everything you do, you put that shit on the internet. Glad we didn't have it back then. I'm waiting on the videos of the kids who see their mamas, daddies, and aunties out there, man. So, do you stream it or skip it? That's what I want to know. Here's another review. O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Y'all, I don't know. We might be in trouble. Did y'all see Hulu is about to release a documentary about 94 Freaknik? Yes. 1994 Freaknik. Yes. They are about to release a documentary. So, I'm just, now I've been to several Freakniks. 94 was one that I attended. So I'm just praying that Jesus be a fence. I'm praying that Jesus just be a big, tall privacy fence. That's my prayer. This Easter, this Good Friday. That's my prayer. So, I will say this though. Like when they would bring out those video cameras and start recording, I immediately removed myself from the, that situation. I never, ever was okay with being recorded out there. So, hopefully that worked to my benefit, but you never know. You never know. So the only thing I got is if you see your girl in the documentary, hey man, at least I'm fully clothed. At least all my clothes is on. That's all I got. That's the best I got. But yeah, y'all, they about to put our business out in the street. Some of us might be on TV. So get your parental controls together. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
Guys, meet Tina. She's a middle-aged lady who is now in the career of aesthetics. She does skincare therapy, corrective skincare, and she has a page called on TikTok, Lash, Wax, and Glow. But of course, Tina has not always been at this place. Now she's older, she's living her life and enjoying her life and things like that. But of course, in the 90s, as you can see in these pictures, she was, young and, living the lifestyle that most young people do, especially if she was living in the South. And of course, that meant in Atlanta, the Freaknik. Now, what was the Freaknik? Freaknik, and I was in the 90s when it came out, but I was a little too young to actually go to it by that time. It was an annual spring bake festival in Atlanta, and it was primarily attended by people from HBCUs and universities. So it wasn't just people from Clark or Morehouse. You had your folks coming down from Florida, from Bethune-Cookman, people from Alabama and A&M in Alabama, Jackson State. Hell, people came as far as Philly. Listen, stop. Even as far as Cali, right? Everybody was going. And it became an annual event in popularity. It had concerts. It had, rap sessions, dance contests. But of course, it had booty clapper sounds. Right. It was a lot of things going on in those Freakniks, all right? And we all know that they called it Freaknik for a reason. Now, obviously, they stopped Freaknik because of all of the debauchery going on during Freaknik. Now, Hulu is going to release a documentary about the Freaknik. And there's some ladies who want to block the release of Freaknik. And according to articles out there, there are 5 prominent black women, judges, politicians, and executives that don't want this to come out, just like Tina. And some of these ladies are C-suite executives making over $1 million a year. Some of these women are married and have 3 children. Some of these women are very popular and they've completely, changed their lifestyle. Now, let me just say this. I mean, when I was 22, I was doing a lot of stuff that I wasn't doing at damn near 42. So there's some things that I was doing at 22 I probably don't want nobody to see. Hell, it was some stuff I was doing probably like last week. You know what I mean? Stop the show because that lasagna had my stomach hurting a little bit last night. So I mean, it's some things, that I did. But like I said, man, people do grow, people change and stuff like that. But I kind of want to give guys a perspective of Freaknik, because I think people think that this is old and like the guys of today, y'all got more game or more knowledge about these things. I want to play a clip of Brother George on Red Supreme stream. Like the thing that we don't want to talk about, right? And some of y'all got moms, some of y'all got aunties, some of y'all got wives. Just know that some of y'all moms, wives, and aunties was out here in Freaknik and might have been getting passed around. But
yep. My call is you stream it. Stream it for the almost nonstop stream of wild VHS footage from a time that wasn't really that long ago, but looks so different from today. Stream it for the nostalgia, either as a veteran Freaknik gore or if you're younger and looking for guidance on how to really party. Stream it. Watch it. Check it out. Support it. For us, by us. The FUBU thing. Freaknik is a cautionary tale about how a city let its attempts at regulation run afoul of the gathering's core intentions. Because, see, I watched today, and I see, like down in Miami, they sick of you niggas. You're supposed to go party and have a great time. Thing about black folk, we think as individuals, not as a group. And you go down to Miami showing your ass, acting stupid. So anything that deals with us, they shut it down. You ever know, I don't know if you know this or not, but you pay more money at a rap concert because you have to get the security together. Not like an R&B concert, country concert. When you got a rap concert, you got these niggas coming in to mingle with the black folk. I love black people, but I hate niggas. You got to get more security. Put down in the comments, what do you think about the Freaknik documentary? Did you attend? If you did attend, how was it? I'm interested to know. If you went to Freaknik, was it a great experience for you? I am very interested to know. Put down in the comments. Let us know again what it is that you felt when you went there compared to today. They say Michael Jackson died in 1979. My